Pretty good. I'm a bustard out of the tournament, but I've started kind of practicing. I didn't mess up any of my inputs, so that was like a insanely good feeling. Um,
Okay.
but there's definitely some brain problems.
Okay. So, on that note, I took a look at the answers to your questionnaire, and I wanted to say, first of all, congratulations on being one of the few people who gets the Puff number pad correct. Out of curiosity, how did you arrive at your particular answer to that one?
Well, I play Falcon, and Jigglypuff is just kind of a horizontal death object, and you pretty much, in my mind, the time you attack is when she's above you or when you're above her,
True.
and so that's very burned into my brain. But at the same time, I also know that she can get under you really easy with the low profile, and she's got really strong stuff. Uh,
Okay.
so 8 is also it's like kind of conditional, but and
Yes.
then if she gets under you, it's really bad. It's a lot of percent.
So on that note, I wanted to ask about the win condition question because I feel like this is one that a lot of times melee players have trouble with, like conceptually, or not really have trouble, but like they kind of like dance around the answer I'm looking for. So you said that like any condition that results in a win condition is something that in successfully doing nets you a stock. So I mean, like that's not totally wrong. Like that is partly true. But what if you have like Luigi in this kind of position? Like he's above you without a jump, you're a character with more range, then like this could also be thought of like as a condition that nets you a stock, right? But it's not like you get it right away. What is it about this that is so bad for Luigi?
Martha's really big up attacks, and Luigi is really bad at getting down.
But why is he bad at getting down? What is it about him that makes him like bad at getting down?
Floaty, no jump, kind of just limited options. Not really a ton of, not a ton of this. Yeah, not a ton of escape options.
Okay, that all makes sense to me. So let's grab a different situation. Yeah, sure, this works. So we get Fox here. So we've done some damage to him. We have him off stage. So he just he Omega DI'd that like terribly. So it's not like the most useful thing in the world, but like yeah, like we have Fox like off the stage like so. Like if he's off stage having to like recover, actually yeah, this will work better. So if we have Fox off stage like here, this is also a pretty bad situation for him in general as well. So, but what is it about it? What is it about this spot that is so bad for him? Like
He's in disadvantage.
Right, but what does that mean though? Like what happens if he what happens in disadvantage?
You usually get.
What happens if you're like
go ahead.
yeah? Give me your answer. What were you gonna say?
Well, it's like the best way I can put it is you're just in a bad situation, which isn't like the best way to put it because it's kind of implied as disadvantage.
Yeah, it's like circular, right? It's like it's bad
Yeah.
because it's bad because it's disadvantageous. It's like not good to be here because it's not good to be here. But try so. What is it about this spot that Fox what is Fox suffering from here? Can he do anything other than a B?
No,
Okay, so now we have
maybe.
some.
I mean, it depends on positioning, but yeah,
Well, it
he
doesn't.
has to recover.
Not really depends on positioning. Like as soon as he's below the stage without his jump, he has to up B, right? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have an alternative. So what is it about that? Like so, we know what his option pool is, don't we?
Yeah,
So
to an
that
extent.
so that he can do his up B a bunch of different ways, but like at the end of the day, we know that he has to up B. So we have what have we done? We've taken away his options. We have left him with exactly one option, which is to just up B. Like, all he can do at this point is just come back to the stage ineffectively with his up B, because we haven't allowed him to do anything else. That edge guard, I'd say, is actually one of the worst ones I've done, just because I allowed him to get above the edge of the stage. So if I turned his other options on here, he absolutely would recover with them. But like, well, if he was smart, he'd probably illusion. But like, again, this is like the name of this game really, when it comes to advantage state, is we are trying to like put them in the spot where they have the fewest things that they can do. Because it's not really hard to beat Fox when he only can up B. But it's really hard to beat him on stage when he can do everything else. So like, I would say that as an entry point to like us talking is, a win condition is essentially the position we put the opponent in where they can no longer fight back. It is the point at which advantage state has tipped past like us just having like normal advantage, like, you know, having a hitbox advantage or them being in a knockdown or something. It's when it flips and now they have to recover or they have to do something, because if they fail to do that thing, they die. So that is somewhat nebulous, but I think you can see what I mean when we take a look at those different examples. Heck, we can even like look at like Falcon for an example here. It's like when you get somebody into a knockdown at like say 40 and you hit them with that knee, it's like hit them with a knee on like their Tekken place. It's like if they fail the DI, if they fail to no DI it or DI it in a way where they don't give us the second knee, like they just instantly lose. Like they lose their stock. They are dead. So I would say a lot of this game is like really just finding those conditions and us working towards those. As Falcon, you are one of the most capable characters of working towards those conditions. Because you have like do you know anything about like do you know how air to air and air to ground interactions are decided in this game? Like, there's no clanking. Like, when I'm like, if somebody is like, if we're two people fighting and we both jab each other on the ground, we're probably gonna clank, right?
Yeah.
Does that happen in the air?
No, it's usually one character it's either a trade or one move beats the other.
Right, because there's no clanking system in the air. The second we get the air involved, unless we're dealing with specials which have all their own like weird ass rules. Well, some of them conform to the normal rules, but like a lot of them don't, because they're specials. They're special. As soon as we get the air involved, the air makes it so that it's very simple. Whoever makes contact with a hitbox. Whoever makes contact with a hitbox gets hit. And that's all there is to it. So, disjointedness is really one of like disjointedness is one of the major determinants of who wins those interactions. So because of this, moves like Falcon's up air are insane, because it's just, they are incredibly disjointed, they cover a massive area, and yeah, they're just extremely good at winning these air-to-air fights. Like, hell, look at this thing. Like, I don't know if have you ever seen the hitbox for Falcon's up air?
I probably at some point, but
let's refresh your memory.
Oh fuck, that's pretty big.
That's huge. Like, that's insane. Like, look at it from frame 9 onwards. Like, that's actually like ludicrous when you really think about it.
I didn't realize it dragged so much.
Oh yeah. So this is like part of what like when people talk about this move being crazy, this is usually what they're talking about. It's incredibly efficient, like it comes out fast, for like not as fast as like a Fox move, but like it comes out reasonably quickly. It covers an enormous area, and the drag makes it so that it wins so many exchanges. Like, it doesn't matter if the opponent is out for a frame or two, if that's what they're going up against. Because what move comes out in a frame or two that like contests that thing? That isn't Fox or Falco's shine, if you want to be a smartass. Because those are valid answers. But even then, like, if you hit with the tippy toes, like, as long as you avoid, like, as long as you, like, overlap your feet with it, like, it still doesn't even work, which is crazy. Because you'll notice, something about how to read this, you'll notice that his feet, his boots, they're not, like, his shoes, they're not part of, like, his hurt box. So that entire, like, green area, almost all of it, anything that isn't leg, basically, like actual leg, not his foot, that's all disjoint. Every single part of it. Because his shoes are not considered hurt boxes, which is crazy. So you can see... I didn't know that about him. Yeah, almost all characters work this way. Almost every character works this way, too. So, like, you can see what, like, I'm hoping what we're getting from this is you can kind of see what I mean about, like, win conditions being, like, a lot more oppressive than we maybe think about, than we maybe give them credit for. Because, like, it's really just, like, where can they not fight back against me at all? Like, where is it a matter of, like, where is the place where, like, their counterplay is just hope and pray?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. So, with that in mind, that's everything I wanted to cover from the survey. Except, so I'm going to pass it to you, because you said you're looking to expand your mental awareness of the game. You feel like you're right on the cusp of getting there, and I want to know what, like, so I want to pass it to you. What do you think is holding you back right now? Or what's something that what's an area of the game that you're interested in learning more about, I guess?
Honestly, I've been playing one of the things, the reductive way that I've gotten it down to is that I'm just really bad at playing rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
And because I'll play, a big one where I see it happening is when I'm playing against a Marth. And a lot of Marths, they go and the ones that I lose to the most are the ones that are just moving so much. And this happens kind of with Fox as well, where they enter a threat range where I feel like I have to play rock, paper, scissors, or else any option they pick will beat any option that I pick unless I put out an option first, basically. And
okay. Do you happen to have an example of, like, do you happen to have any VODs or examples of you fighting someone like this?
Yeah, let me check.
While you're looking, the impression I get from that is, so when you say you're put into a spot where it's like you're playing rock, paper, scissors, so I'm guessing they're dancing just kind of like just outside of your, like, nair, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's old.
If not, what we could do is, let me see here. Do you play ranked at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you
I
feel?
have a couple Slippy files from ranked, but they're not, like, recorded.
Okay. How do you feel about popping in? How do you feel about popping into ranked and doing a ranked set for me?
I'm down.
Okay, cool. So I'll go give you my spectator code. When you launch the game, just to make sure we're connected properly, what I'm gonna have you do is launch the game, then back out of ranked, like back out of, like, online play, and just open, like, versus mode, as if we were playing at a tournament or a Smash Fest, like an in-person one, and then just load the game with any two characters.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. So let me know when you've loaded the game and what level you're on.
I'm loading in Fox Falcon on FD.
Okay, so nothing's coming through for me yet. That's okay. Let me see here. I'm just gonna close out of this and refresh and hit watch again.
Wait, did I need to go into ranked or unranked and then?
No, it should work just fine if you're in versus mode. It should just work fine if you're in versus mode. Can do me a favor, end this game and then just reload the match with the any two characters on the level, and just we'll see if it connects. Because it should show me what's on your screen if you're in versus mode. Yoshi Story Falcon Fox, perfect. We are cooking.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we can head in. I do that check first just because I find it's easier to coordinate stuff there than it is like to have you like wait for someone to queue, then like hop around, all that crap.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we can hop right into ranked if you want to. The only thing is, perfect. I won't be able to see the stage strike or when it I just see the match when it loads, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So let me know when we find someone and what character we're up against.
Something that takes a while. It's happening a lot.
Well, I believe.
Yeah, it's just dealing with the... I feel like I never know when or exactly how to go in. I was talking to me and Mello play all the time, and it feels like I'll go and I'll play really aggressive, and then my opponent starts playing really campy, or they just kind of start waiting for me to approach, and I just lose, and then I start losing, and it happens every time, and that's when I struggle the most.
So, when you say that you play really aggressively, what does that look like? Like, are you just are you naring and then drifting in? Are you naring at them? Are you dash dancing close to them? Like, what does that mean?
Well, I guess not. It's not aggressive. It's actually kind of the opposite. I play really defensive. Also, Falco on Battlefield.
Okay, sounds good. Yep, I can see it. Okay. Try not to drift in so hard with your nairs unless you're trying to combo them to something. Try to drift away with your nairs at the end. Is one thing I'd point out. So we still want to land on stage, but it's kind of like we go in then pull back. Oh, you're fast. I see what you mean. I can see why you feel like that cusp right now. Because yeah, you're quick. Your execution is quite high. I'm gonna suggest something. Falcon is more about aerial. No, Falcon's more of a wall in neutral than he is a dash dancer. Dash dancing is kind of more of a supporting element for him, because if we think about where his good moves are, 5 of them are... Out of his 7 goodish moves, 5 of them are aerials. One of them's his grab, and the other is his jab. So he's really, more interested in, controlling his space than he is about, dash dancing around. Because he doesn't have, a good dash attack to play for. He doesn't have a good, up smash to play for out of a dash, which is, what we'd normally consider, good dash-in options. So it's, a lot of what he does is, just a little bit more air-based. Dash dancing's still good, it's just more of a supporting element. Okay. What do you think of that guy?
He's okay. I'm pretty bad at Falco. It's just consistency.
Try playing on the platforms more. When he's fucking around with his lasers and stuff. Try not going in with... Try waiting and using the platforms a bit more to control space. So accidentally SD'd. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a box player, and I'm relatively new to the firmware.
Oh, okay.
But
so wait, the firmware or the hard? Do you mean the hardware?
No, the Nerf firmware.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. How big of an impact is it, by the way?
It definitely takes getting used to, but it's...
Okay. Totally reasonable. I appreciate that transparency. Because like because I don't know where you're at unless you tell me. So yeah, that'll help me. Falco's difficult when you're not playing on point, especially as this guy. Nice. Yeah, using like the double jump to like enter like the 45-degree angle he's bad against is like very good. So what he's now doing to like deal with your aerials is he's like dancing a little bit away from you, and then like trying to like punish your landing lag. So this is where like dash dance is a good supporting element. This is where that comes alive, because you see that he's now like doing this. So like yeah, like you're doing little movements, totally fine, totally fine. But you see what I mean? Like he's doing little movements to like stay away from you, to just stay outside of like your wall zone. So that's where like your dash dance grab or overshooting with your aerial, that's where that becomes super, super good. So would you say that's kind of the range where you have trouble with?
Yeah, what happens is people just start waiting for me to do stuff because they do stuff and then I kill them for it, and then they start waiting, and then I start losing really bad.
Okay.
Because I'm just still swinging, and I haven't recognized that. That's why I've been waiting for it.
There is a set between Plup and Salt that I cite somewhat often for like kind of like what to do about this sort of playstyle. Do you want to take a look at that to get some ideas? Because I think that
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. So we don't have to queue another game, but like that was good. I'm glad that we had you play, because that was instructive, I think. So let me like open this up, and then
that's the frustrating thing, is I feel like my execution is like there, if not almost there. Like I feel like my execution is not what's holding me back at all. It's just like putting all the pieces together mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at so even with that SD, I think we can agree that fighting Plup granted Plup is not quite as deadly in this matchup as he used to be, but like he's still like one of the greats at it, I think. Like very, very, very like terrifying player to fight against. So let's take a look at how Salt handles this, because I think that there's a lot we can take from this. So let's start with like how she gets the hit. So like one thing I want to point out here is like she's just very comfortable to just like wait outside
That's insane spacing, by the way.
It is.
That was so close.
It is and it isn't, because here, let me ask you something. If Plup it comes any closer, like Plup kind of has a limit to like where he can put this back air, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right? Because like if he tries to like drift in, like if he like the platform is kind of like causing problems for him, because the platform is preventing him from like full drifting without a fast fall. Like if Plup wants to do his aerial sooner, he has to do it below the platform basically. Like Plup has to do his aerial below the platform. So I think that like getting used to like playing at this zone is like actually quite handy. Because you see how like how Salt backs up in response to Plup's like in response to like Plup's jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then holds position here and just takes that grab. So I would say like crouching or like occupying this area of the platform is actually a pretty good spot to like be aware of in general. In fact, I will flag that for you so that you know what to do. Let's actually grab an image when she's underneath it.
Definitely a little bit familiar about like hiding under side plats.
Okay.
With like Fox, because Fox is just full hop in air, and I definitely use plats as a sort of deterrent.
Yeah, and this should come second nature then, because like this is basically like Plup has gone up here, Sheik with her low air mobility is going to land here. So then what Salt is doing is she's making herself very small here, underneath the platform. which makes perfect sense when we lay it out like this makes perfect sense. So it's like this is a good I think starting point. But like she then takes this position. And I think what she does well here is like look at how she kind of does a little overshoot here. So like after she misses her like follow through here. Cuz I think she goes for something here. She goes for a neon here. So then gets out of the way of the counter hit back here. And look at where she places her like stomp. Right? She's not aiming at Sheik, she's aiming at where Sheik is going to go. Because I feel like this is like, let me ask you, how would you have done let's say you get the same opening. You go for this grab, you go for this neon where she is, you miss because she jumps above you. What comes to mind for you here?
Up air.
Up air's not
but
bad.
That's wrong because 10%. So probably stomp or grab again.
Yeah. So like your first instinct is to win the exchange with the most powerful option you can, but the damage is wrong for it. So I think I think that if Plup was at like 30 or like 25, I think your up air is the right play.
Yeah.
But it's like Plup isn't. So what Salt does very astutely is she looks for like the thing that is going to build her the most damage and convert to like the easiest punish, which is in this case stomp grab. Great DI to get out. Great smash DI to get out of that. Down, crouch cancel into like grab. Love this. Answer me honestly? Do you think you'd crouch in the corner like that?
No, I would probably try and dash under and take center again. I definitely need to start holding down way more, in general in situations.
Yeah, so like I want to point out something. This is very similar to that first crouch that we saw underneath the platform, isn't it? Right? Like the alignment is almost exactly this. Like the alignment is almost exactly the same in that we have Sheik at at one of her powerful diagonals, and what Salt is doing is she's banking on the fact that Plup wants to capitalize on this, and then like just holding and then just crouching here. It's like I would agree with your play. Generally, I do think that like this is a little bold of Salt, but at the same time, like you have to ask yourself what is involved with getting to center stage here. Like for Salt to take center stage in a productive, effective manner, she has to basically cross where's Sheik's area of control here? She's probably controls like underneath the platform pretty hard, like here, basically anything in this
big triangle.
Yeah, like anything from here, maybe we could even argue over here, because she could easily just run the other way as well. So like this is kind of Sheik's area of control. So to cross this section is not an easy task. Like this is a big ask from Douglas here. Because like we're basically telling him, okay, one of the deadliest characters you can possibly fight, just like casually breach this entire territory. Like this is I don't know. She's not even that bad at covering the space above her either, which is like the other thing to consider too. So like her Sheik's area of control really is probably something like this. So like I think that staying outside the edge, like staying outside of it or like hanging out where she is makes a lot of sense here. So one easy thing I'd say is crouching, I think, like in these kinds of spots is like probably it's probably a pretty reasonable addition to your gameplay. Because this gives you another way that you can like kind of win exchanges. You mentioned that you fight I bet like, does this happen versus Marths?
Which thing?
Oh, like
the waiting thing?
Yeah, like just like do you think this would also help you versus Marth?
Maybe a little less so.
Okay.
Just because they have the down air spike, and that's
true.
Quite strong.
True, but you could also shield that. Like if you see Marth coming off the platform like that at that angle, you could also probably make a case for just mixing up shield. And the nice thing about that one is that if you do get the shield, his down air is like ludicrously unsafe on block.
Yeah.
Like, in that case, you're almost using the crouch as a bait, aren't you? Because it's like, you're crouching, so it's like cues to him, come down with down air, and then, like, he does, so then you're like, okay, block. And then it's just, he's very unhappy. I'm not saying it'll work every time, but, like, the point more is that, like, they have Marth and Sheik, in my opinion, have a lot of similar weaknesses. Because they're both characters that are, like, defined by how good their swings are. They're not really characters who are, like, I guess more Sheik to a lesser degree. Like, Sheik has the persistent hitboxes in certain spots, and Marth has, like, downward hitting moves in certain spots. So, like, they have, like, ways of kind of, like, working past the other's weaknesses in some way. In some way or another, but they're ultimately characters that are both defined by their good, like, speed stats and their swing and the strength of their swings. So it's like a lot of things that work against one will work against the other. So something here, like on this FD game, because this FD game I think is really what I wanted to show. But you know, there was stuff there that I wanted to kind of like point out too. So something about Salt, I think that she does here once she respawns. Yeah. I want us to pay attention to like the spacing that she chooses to keep once she's done like her combo here. So she kills Plup, I think. Even there, like, you can kind of see that there's like overshoot elements in a lot of the things that she's doing. She's not aiming exactly at where Sheik is. Like, if Sheik stays still, she'll get her. But like, yeah, because I don't think that she dies here. Yeah. So she recovers. So look at the spacing that they're keeping from each other. She goes in on the jump, yes. Here we go. Okay, so Plup kills her. Fair enough. So maybe it is the last stock. This isn't the end of her. Nope. Yeah, this here. So look at the spacing that we're keeping here. What do you notice about it?
You go back. It happens so fast. It's like it's outside of the rectangle.
Yeah. And
it's like outside of the threat range.
Yeah, and it's outside it in a very like, and you see where she's like how she chooses to come in after, right? So like,
yeah.
She comes into where Plup is. That knee is the part of the strength of the knee is that it's really good to trade with if Sheik tries to stuff you here. So like, you see what I mean? Like, she does this like basically immediately. Like, what frame of her jump is she airborne for? So she leaves the ground 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on the 4th airborne frame, that's when she inputs this. So this is coming out now, basically. So if Sheik, like, puts out her forward tilt to intercept this, like, this is a really good trade for Salt, which is, like, awesome. So, like, by attacking from this far away, she's kind of, like, allowing the knee enough space to come out. So that's, that's one important part about this. And by doing that, she then, like, can kind of, like, coax Plup into, like, backing off here. And then once Plup is, like, back, like, once Plup's stance is broken by that, like, power shield that goes wrong, it's like, boom. Just gets this, takes the kill. But it all, like, begins with, like, that, with the spacing. It all begins with just, like, her, like, playing outside the rectangle and choosing a really good time to, like, engage. And again, it all starts with that, starting with that crouch, like, crouching outside the rectangle, seeing that Plup has gone for the needles to try to, like, stop her from moving in, and then attacking right after it. So she's kind of, like, waiting for her turn, sort of. What do you think you would do in that kind of spot? Like, if you were kind of at this kind of, like, let's say you just get out of this combo from Plup, what do you think you go for?
Honestly, probably stomp or knee, but that's just because, or maybe like an overshot nair, which is bad. Just because I don't know.
You'd probably run into the back. You'd probably go into like the back air that he does to protect himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. So like she recognizes that just because she's out of the combo does not mean she's like out.
I would
She's
not
still...
have taken those extra dash dances.
Why do you think? What do you think the end result of her doing those dash dances is?
Getting the getting a little bit extra space,
Mm-hmm.
kind of forcing Plup. Because the thing about is Plup, it's like the Falcon threat range is wider than the Sheik threat range.
Yeah, give me more of that. Tell me more about that, or tell me tell me why that matters.
Well, Falcon's so fast, and so he can get into your face extremely quickly and grab. It's like, and there's some in the cookbook. There's some image where it's like, this is how close Falcon has to be to you for an unreactable grab, and I think it's pretty similar to that. And so, yeah, just playing that balance of that space where Sheik's is a lot smaller, but it's a lot faster.
Yeah, she's
so
kind
it's
of she's bursty.
Kind of fire water. Yeah, kind of a fire water situation.
Right. So like let's think of it like this is where Sheik is, right? So like this is where Sheik is, this is where Falcon A and Falcon B can be. So if we don't do those dash dances, we probably just get like pushed back and we have to back up to about here to be safe from Sheik's like scary ass moves. So in this like resulting situation, by doing those dash dances into the Nair, what Salt has done is like we've kind of put Sheik in a spot where Sheik has to back, like we're let's say if we had to draw the unreactable grab zone, it's probably about here, right?
Yeah.
So what we have, Sheik is really close to that. So from Sheik's perspective, she has to move out of this zone in some way in order to like be safe from that. She has to give herself a little bit more breathing room in order for her to be okay, which is why Plup jumps from like here to here to here. This to me makes a ton of sense. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like,
yeah, so now,
yeah,
close the gap, and then Plup is afraid, so we jump needles to try and take back more space.
Yeah. So, like, well, he doesn't exactly jump needle right away. Like, he threatens them to see, like, what Salt will do. And Salt has, to her credit, the best response I've ever seen to this. Because what Salt does is, like, she backs away and then enters the air using this backflip. Which means Plup does not have a clean way of dealing with the back. Like, Plup doesn't have a clean way of using this up tilt that he has earned. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, it's all for naught. So then what Salt does is Salt just, like, rushes in after. So, like, they're just kind of like, you see how they're, like, kind of, like, they're both, like, moving in a way, they're both moving in a way that, like, teases the other's zone using their jump trajectories. And they're, like, in Sheik's case, they're powerful normals. So they're kind of, like, working in this, like, very, like, this very precise, like, spacing, because neither of them wants to let the other in. But then Plup makes the first mistake when this happens. He then messes up his defense, and then, like, because he's not anticipating that to happen, and then kablamo, he gets vaporized. So it's like the two of them are both trying to, like, gradually, like, push their relevant threat zones onto the other in a way that is favorable to them without giving anything up. And here we have, I think, like, the best some of the best spacing of the match. Because it's like, you see how she's kind of like teasing the like forward tilt zone, and then like goes in with like an overshoot. To me, this is like really high level play. This is like very, very good Sheik falconing. It is a shame that she does not get rewarded with a match win, but like, Plup's really good. So
yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes being very good is not enough. Sometimes you have to be excellent. But like, the point is you can see what I'm getting at. It's like the two of them are like they're very carefully trying to move their threat ranges onto one another, in this very controlled manner. So what I'm curious when I'm watching you play, I don't see that same like attention to detail. I don't see the same attention to detail with your play. What I see more is like what I see a little bit more of is like you're trying to like push your scrapping zone onto the Falco, and I get that that's just kind of the matchup in general, but like I still think that there's like some opportunities for us to be like I still think that there's opportunities for us to be like to be working with this, like, these longer distances or attacking from angles that allow us to use those distances that's not really being represented. And I'm curious to what your thoughts are on that.
I think Falco's a really tricky one, especially just because of lasers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's constantly changing, and it's anytime he jumps, you could be getting ruined, or it's kind of a gamble every time.
True.
But I kind of see what you mean. I
Like,
definitely think that in terms of
like even if we agree with all that, I would say that like something that's key for me though is like how much less she's attacking compared to you.
yeah, I think that's a problem, and it's just because I want to hit him so bad.
I mean, like it makes sense because you've honed your execution skills to such a like like your execution is really really good. And I imagine you've probably honed it to such a high degree because you really want to hit the opponent and do cool shit. But
Yeah,
it's a bit of a double-edged it is a bit of a double-edged sword in a way, because it's like a lot of being good at this game is understanding when we can't hit, like when we have to hold back, when we're not supposed to go in. And that can be a tough pill to swallow.
yeah. I think it's extra hard with Falcon because it's like there's a lot of situations where if you don't go in, you can die for it. Or at least that's how I feel.
Yeah. With that
especially when it comes to like Fox and yeah.
With that in mind, how do you feel about what are your thoughts on how we can use this time effectively? Because I feel like we've we've kind of like identified some things that we could like some opportunities for your play. They're relatively big areas, but what do you think the best vehicle for you learning this stuff would be? We're trying to like pick this stuff up would be.
I honestly don't know. I'm very much I kind of have to like bash my head into a wall over and over again to learn something.
Why don't we queue up some ranks?
Like a brute force. I'm definitely a brute force goblin.
So
is it
how
still
do you
broadcasting?
Yep, it's still broadcasting. So I was gonna say, what if we queued up ranked or unranked? If unranked is like finding matches faster, that might be better. And see what we can figure out together. Because I think that like if you're more hands-on, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah.
Yeah. I'll queue unranked if I don't get something in like a minute. I'll switch to unranked. The problem with unranked is it feels like
you don't really play in a way that's conducive for this.
well, it's not. Yeah, it's like also unranked people kind of suck. I thought at one point they had like matchmaking, but I don't think that is true. Let's see. So there's one go good. And that's the other thing is I feel like a lot of the times I'll try to not attack, and then I'll wait, and then I'll just get a totally incorrect read on when they're gonna come in, or not even a read, but just like, especially with like foxes. There's a lot of pretty good foxes in my region who do like wave dash down right in your face. And they do that so much more than attacking that it's difficult to know when. And one of the things you said that I agree with is not being super attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is I don't know. Not even that I don't know, but like this is unranked.
Okay, so this fox looks okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It's pretty okay.
Yeah, no, they look like they know their shit. Let's try to use our aerials more for walling and neutral instead of like just relying on our dash dance. Because I think that we need things out. Something I want to point out is that like even versus like Salt, like even versus Plup, Salt still used like still like jump to set up plays. Is I would say that she didn't swing as much, but I do think that the idea that like when we're fighting characters with less range than us, we want to be using our disjoint advantage like a little bit more. So that means like putting moves out like early. And against characters who have equal or more range than us, like Marth and Sheik, then against them we want to like use our movement a little more, but like yeah, that's just melee 101 because it's like yeah, if disjointedness is what decides, if disjointedness, i.e. like range relative to hurtbox, is what decides like these interactions, then against like, you know, against characters with lower disjointedness, we want them to like feel that disadvantage and like make them work for it. Against characters who are like overpower us though, we want to use our speed advantage. Because like the instant we started doing this guy became way more manageable. Like we really didn't let it get anything started. So there he like came out of his shield pretty aggressively after we did low neon on his shield. To me, that is a sign we want to be grabbing this asshole or like following up our knee on shield with like something more like with something that like immediately like hits him for coming forward. Because yeah, like
left.
Yeah, no, he wasn't about it. He's like, damn, I got fucked.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy withstood my offense, and I wasn't about it.
And that's the kind of that's like it's so hard. I feel like that's one of a big problem is like I'm very bad at changing gears really fast. Not even really fast, just like
I disagree.
changing.
Yeah.
Like from playing in a way that is good against Fox versus playing in a way that's good against Falco.
Oh, I mean, like the same things that are good against Fox are largely good against Falco. They're both characters who kind of have range, and defense problems. So like the same walling things that like beat one are going to be good against the other. It's just that like what's going to happen is like Falco is going to police you with the laser, and Fox is going to have to like find good spots with his movement. Fox is a better anti-air in his up smash, and Falco kind of like has better box. I don't really think of Falco's up tilt as an anti-air per se. I just think it's a good boxing tool. Because I don't really think they like throw it out a lot of the time with the intention of anti-airing. They're just like doing it. Yeah, see, like, you're doing more moves in general. And I feel like this is, like, you're doing more moves in good spots, and I think that is, like, important versus, like, the spacies. It's against the spacies, we are trying to make them, like, put a lid on them, sort of. Nice. It's really just if we're, like, in a bad spot. Like, if we're in a bad spot for fighting. Like, there. Yeah, like, you were in a bad spot, so then use your movement to get out of there. That's kind of the name of the game with them. Against Marth, Sheik, Falcon, and against Marth and Sheik and characters with, like, better, like more powerful moves, or, like, better, like, boxing tools, we kind of need to, like, maneuver around those things more, but, yeah. Okay, I got a little reckless with that one. That's okay. Not even reckless, like, we just basically, like, went too far forward. Oh, good smash DI. Okay. Good for them. Let's keep fighting this person. Whenever we're landing from an aerial, the name of the game with Falco and Fox is we want to be like so close enough that we can keep like pressuring them with like more aerials and stuff, but not so close that we can get CC shined.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where we're ultimately like we're trying to be there. If we land too close, we want to back out and get to that spot. With platform follow-ups, I notice you up air a lot, but a lot of those are slide-offable. Have you thought about going for like knees or like stomp or like the stomp coverage stuff in those spots?
I usually go for knee on like low plat stages. But stomp is also slide off of it. It's kind of annoying.
Not for as long as up here though. Like stomp stops being like slide offable around like the 50s or 60s, I think. Whereas like up air like works forever basically. You want to actually hit like the meteor hit though, so they go more upwards, not to the side. So you don't cover like the entire platform, but like the idea is that like you're covering like 3 options like really hard, and if you happen to get them, then like yeah, then they just explode. Also works with knee. You could do like it's like set up with a double jump. Probably seen like Nun and Johnny do it. Yeah, you started seen Salt do it too.
It's supposed to be knee, but it's okay. No, it's not okay.
It's fine because it's a friendly.
This guy's lagging a lot.
If he's lagging, don't play with him. Fight someone else. This is your time. Like, you know. Yeah, we got time for one more game, I think. And then, but let's fight somebody who isn't lagging so much.
Still getting the.
Sorry, what's going on?
I'm still getting hack stats down from the new firmware.
Gotcha.
I'm bad like this.
Oh, I saw the crouch cancel. That's good. Hell yeah.
It's like stuff like situations like that where they just like wait and I swing because I'm scared because I'm hypersensitive.
Yeah. So we're at time. We're at like we don't have time for another game, but let's talk about what we learned today because I think that I see what you mean. I do think that there's like some concrete things that we can take away here though. So one thing that I kind of noticed was that you were a little more willing to use your crouch cancel, like especially versus the Fox player towards the end. What do you know? What benefits do you see? I know we didn't get like stuff off it there, but I do see that he like jabbed into it a couple times. So like, what are some benefits that you see that like from using crouch cancel in some of those spots more?
It in the same way that you were talking about a win condition is limiting the other person's options until they're forced to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Crouch cancel makes it at a certain percent, up to a certain percent. It makes it so you can't, like, that fox can't nair me because I'll grab him, or he can't. It forces him to basically drill, running shine, or grab, or up smash. But even then, not kind of depends. It's like a defensive version of that.
Yeah, so like crouch cancel funnels enemy options into a more manageable pool. Percent, no bracket, percent dependent. Yeah. And then we have like the fox example with a low percent nair and bear, and no nair and bear being restricted, forcing shines, drills, grabs, up smashes, which are all like significantly easier to see coming and generally more punishable on block. So like there's kind of like creates opportunities for mix-up systems because the things you want against shield because the things that are good against shield are not necessarily good against crouch. Good against crouch. Yeah, I think that's great. We also have like, I would say crouch cancels too. And I'd say like this is like the Sheik example. No, crouch cancels too, like Sheik versus Falcon Falcon examples with Salt. Some characters like Sheik just don't have great ways of interacting with CC from certain positions. Without needles, Sheik doesn't really have one. So like that would be like in some spots this can effectively check her kit. So like that would be another one. I would also kind of comment that like we're against the weighting. So I know the weight. Do you think that there was anything here today that we learned that would be effective against the weighting outside our range thing? Yeah.
It's... Yeah, just because, like, there's the... like, teasing of the other options. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like... good dash dancing and... like, I guess, baiting out an unsafe approach.
So... we keep saying approach, but I think that like the big. So I'm curious. So we keep saying approach, but why do you keep saying approach? Because to me, like that is not like that is because if we had gone over this lesson together and I were in your shoes, that is not the takeaway that I think I'd have. But I'm curious as to why you're like landing there. So what is it about like approach that the opponent approaching into you that you think is like the opening? Or like what is it that you think like? Can you explain your reasoning a bit more?
I guess in my mind, an approach is just a swing.
Okay.
Or that's like the word denomination that I've given it.
Okay, so a swing. So fair enough. So that still doesn't answer like. I still think I'd arrive at a different conclusion, but like I'll hear you out. So like you're saying that you're waiting for the opponent to swing.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it so? The thing that I noticed from the Salt examples and from like just watching in general is just it's not so much the swing that we're looking for. The swing might be the cues that we're going to act, but like it's really something else. It's really the retreat that we're looking for. Would you agree with the premise that Falcon has more range? That Falcon's overshoot goes longer than most than most other characters' overshoots?
Yes, it's the biggest.
Okay. That's like so, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you, because if I'm misunderstanding you, fair enough. But like the way I'm looking at this is more around the lines that if the opponent is committing to like a retreat option, for example, like if they do something like this and back off, then like what we can do is we can kind of go in with knee afterwards to like catch where they go. I'm like that to me that's like the big thing that's what breaks Plup's defense when we watch like Salt versus Plup. When we looked at like when in your own games, like a lot of times what breaks their defense isn't that you're attacking where they go, it's isn't attacking where they are, it's attacking where they could go after they've missed.
Right.
So is that aligned with what you're with what you're communicating? Like, am I just like, is this just a me not understanding you thing, or like, do you mean something else entirely?
That is kind of what I mean, because it's like, because after somebody does a move, it also funnels the option of what they can do.
Okay. So keep going. So right, because they've
taken their turn.
Right, they've incurred end lag. So what they do have afterwards has to like meet like, assuming that we're doing traditional like undershoot like whiff punish combat, like just like, you know, boxing each other effectively. What they do has to be either fast enough to like deal with the follow-up action or nimble enough to get away from it. Got it. So
yeah.
Then what overshoots do? Got it. So overshoots. So like so really what this is like the necessity of like the necessity of overshoots. So we're seeing a need for overshoots in response to swings when the opponent is committed to waiting out our options by either returning to a quote unquote safe neutral position. Waiting out by returning to a safe neutral position after swinging. Like this is really like a big thing. And then like I'd say like the second as an add-on to that, a big part of our thing is like trying to create that position by like playing we're seeing a need for overshoots. We're seeing a need to create opportunities for the above by using our own swings, and using DDs and using movement as part of that, e.g. drift back nair, bear, dash dance after aerial, to create the Falcon overshoot zone where we can threaten that threaten that sort of option without really being threatened in return. Because like really that's kind of like that's one of our big strengths as a character, right? Like the fact that our overshoot zone is bigger than their overshoot zone. So like as long as they're in that space and we're not, we can kind of like bully them like it's subtle, but we can kind of bully them with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. With that, is there anything else that really... So with that, I'm going to hit cut on the recording because we are at time.